What's going on, man? What's happening? Alhamdulillah. What, do you have a question? Or
I'll leave it for today, man. Because I've had like a half hour debate.
with who?
Some guy over there.
Well, what Christian are you? So you don't believe? Do you believe Jesus to be God?
Yeah.
So you believe Jesus that is he has a perfect God's attribute. So I think you know that Jesus doesn't know the hour. Jesus, he didn't know the hour, the day of judgment. So when Jesus said, "I don't know the hour,"
We believe that only the Father knows the hour.
does God know everything?
Yes.
Is Jesus God?
Yes.
So God knows everything. If Jesus is God, by default, we have to know everything. Correct?
It's a question of you're asking me how.
Huh?
You're asking me how. And,
House? What do you mean?
we established today we can't answer how God does things.
No, what I'm saying to you, I'm asking you how. I'm asking you if you say what do they call it, a single person. What is the definition of single person? Definition of single person who is not married. Jamal is single. Is he married? He's not, because definition of single person, by default, single person means not married. So if Jamal is a single, he's not married. If Abdurrahman is single, he's not married. Alright? So now if God knows everything all the time, this is the nature of God. If Jesus is God, by default he has to know everything. If he doesn't know everything, therefore he cannot be God, because by God's nature, he knows everything. So now, which one is it? Is Jesus God? If it's God, you have to be consistent, because you and I, we agree that God knows everything by nature. Correct? So therefore, if Jesus is God, he should know what?
The point would be he knows the hour.
Everything. Yeah. So how come he doesn't know the hour?
Because it's withheld from
So therefore he cannot be God, because you just affirm he doesn't know the hour. And you just told me God knows everything.
It's a good point, but I would ask you to answer my question.
Yeah.
Because I was asking this guy here this question and he didn't.
I'm not asking you how God look, by the way, or how God's face look. I know that's beyond our understanding. We say the way of His Majesty. You see, just to make something clear, because you say about how. No, I'm not asking you how. I'm asking you there's something about God which, from His nature, what God is. But anyway, you can go ahead.
I was asking him about when Allah descends onto the third heaven.
To the first heaven, yes.
To listen to the prayers.
No, listen. It doesn't say listen.
No?
But it doesn't listen. It's to respond, no listen. He listens to every all the time.
This is us now.
Is it not against his nature to descend onto the heaven?
No, it's not.
Why?
Because descending, okay, firstly, the heaven is what is the unseen. You agree?
Yeah, we can't.
The unseen is, and God is the unseen. Okay? So we cannot comprehend the unseen.
There's the heavens created.
Yeah, but it's from the unseen. How? From the unseen. The angels are created.
Yeah.
We don't know how they look. Even they are created. They are from the unseen.
I would say Muhammad knows what the angels look like now.
No, I'm not telling you who knows. My point is, the heavens is created but from the unseen. Okay? So when God descends, why people try to say, if God descends, he has to go through this, through that? They are utilizing their experience based upon this creation to apply it to the Creator, which doesn't make any sense. Understand? That is a way different than God. For example, if I said to you that descending also is not God's nature, meaning that if God does not descend, if God never taught us, He doesn't descend, we still can utilize our brain to know God knows everything all the time.
But
He has
He did
perfect
descend.
knowledge. Yeah, that's my point. My point, descending, because there's difference about what God is and what God does. What God does whenever He wishes, whenever He wills. Okay, like God descends to the lowest heaven in the third of the night, but during the morning time. God spoke to Moses, He never spoke to you. But what God is meaning that's His nature all the time. This is the problem with Christianity. Christianity go and guess what God is, not what God does.
I got the water.
What God, you tell me God is from His nature, that He knows everything from His nature. Then you tell me Jesus is God, but He doesn't know everything. This is a big problem. But God descended. I'm not telling, for example, God
I would
spoke
say
to.
descending is against his nature.
No, it's
From your
not.
perspective.
No, it's not.
So
Because descending doesn't. Huh?
To descend.
Two years not his nature, God.
No.
Because you tell me why is.
Because
I want to tell why I'm telling you God against his nature, because all of us we know God has the perfect knowledge. So I'm utilizing something that we agree on to invalidate your belief. But when it comes to descending, I don't agree with you that descending against his nature to begin with.
so you say he can enter the creation.
No,
No,
we
he didn't
said
say
at his
that.
creation.
He didn't
Okay,
say
watch
that.
this. I'm gonna give you an example, even though it doesn't need example. This is a ring. This is a bottle. The ring is gonna descend from here to here. He has not entered the bottle. I mean, he has not entered the bottle. This is just creation, brother. But what I'm telling you here, you cannot utilize Allah descending to the lowest heaven, try to say no, because this application that you are applying or you try to impose on God,
False notion.
this is a false notion. This for creation, not for the creator. But when it comes to God's nature, it's perfect.
I
You
would say that
understand?
if he descends, is that not a physical movement of God?
Now you are using Greek philosophy. This is
Yeah.
Aristotle's point now. Aristotle said in his 10 rules, if anything that moves, it has to be a body. And if it's a body, it's created. That's not Jesus' statement. It's not Prophet Muhammad's statement. You and I we should not use it.
You have to go outside the book
Outside.
in
Yeah.
order to prove.
No, not outside the book.
No, you have to
cannot
go beyond-
utilize-
you have to go beyond
you
this
you have to go
revelation.
to Aristotle to
Yeah.
try to invalidate.
You don't have to be physical to move necessarily.
And we say God has essence. But physical, and this physical term, what do you mean? God has essence in reality. He exists independently. Yes. Does he do actions? Yes. But Aristotle said in his 11 rules, or 10, they call it 10 rules,
10
something 10 rules. Yeah. One of them, he start laying out what God should not be, or what makes something created. He mentioned if he moves, therefore is a body. If it's a body, it has a part. If it's a part, it's a body is created, and so on. I'm just rephrasing, by the way. But the point here is, when I refuted that Jesus to be God, the mighty messenger, the true Messiah, I never used Aristotle. I used the Bible and the Quran. The Bible and the Quran both agree that God has a perfect knowledge.
So you don't think that God's hand or foot is a physical hand or foot?
No, what do you mean by physical? Explain to me. I mean, it's real?
Yeah.
Or if it's real, of course it's real. But it doesn't mean like our hands. Like in Arabic language, we say the door has a hand.
So you would say that God is completely unphysical and
No, I don't use this term, because this term, I never used it. I use a term that was used by Jesus and Moses and Abraham. I don't use a term that was used by the Greek philosophers. This term physical, what do you mean by it? For me to tell you if I do accept it or not. What do you mean by, I believe God has a physical hand? What do you mean by that?
question of what you mean by physical.
Yeah, that's it. If you mean that it's real, the way befits God, yes, I accept it. But if you mean like created and like a human beings or any creation, no, I don't accept it. Because there's nothing like God. You see? For example, in the Bible, it said Jesus is on the right hand of God. Okay? On the right hand of God. And in the Bible, it mentions that God was walking in the Garden of Eden. In the Bible, we use that. You see? I'm not going to tell you he cannot be God because he was walking. Okay? Because why? We're in the Quran. Eid Mubarak, Habib. Allah Azzik. Barak Allah, Khoy. Kal Hatayyib. Barak. There's no verse in the Quran. I mean, I have to use Quran, Sunnah, or even scripture. I cannot be using Aristotle. Aristotle was a misguided person. He was far away from the scriptures of Jesus and Moses, Abraham and Noah and Jeremiah and Daniel.
So you say this is a corrupted story of creation?
Yes, this is not. No, what I'm saying, you are utilizing a corrupted tool, was used by a corrupted individual, Aristotle. Yes, he was good at maths or whatever, but when it comes to speaking about divinity and God and so on, he was so far
Well,
away
we're
from
talking
it.
about the Torah now, not Aristotle.
Yeah, walking. No, I'm not going to negate it because the way God, for example, in the Quran said,
In the Quran,
وَجَاءَ.
does it say he walked in?
no, it doesn't say walking. According to my knowledge, it says وَجَاءَ رَبُّكَ وَالْمَلَكُ. Allah will come
Coming,
on the
yeah.
day of judgment. So we affirm he will come. Okay? How? Allah knows best.
But he
Because
comes without entering.
until to what? Until to what? Day of judgment.
Yeah.
Yeah, day of judgment days, everything will, Allah will be above everything. The how? Allah knows best because it's unseen. But what I will say to you, out of respect, you know, I'm gonna, hopefully you're not gonna think I'm being rude or not. I'm not trying to be rude. What are you doing? When I just established to you with a logical, rational, based upon scripture, Jesus cannot be God, you went, instead of accepting it and thinking, oh, it's true, what you start doing, you start trying to utilize something which is unclear to justify or to reject that which is clear. Because talking about God moving or doesn't move, this not, if I show you, if I tell you, show me in the Bible, it said God doesn't move, and if he moves, not God. It doesn't say that, it's Aristotle. So I will say to you, Jesus is a mighty messenger, no doubt about that. He's a Messiah, no doubt about it, but he's not God. And I can show you also what Jesus cannot be God. So, from a logical point of view. All right, cool. Watch this. Jesus, when he was on the earth, he was asking the Father for what? For help. So Jesus was on the earth, was he God as well?
Yeah, I know your point. I don't have the answer for it.
That's what I'm saying. That's why, you know, in the Quran, I'll show you the Quranic here. You know what Allah said? Allah mentioned the powerful, logical, rational argument. Allah said about Jesus and Mary, both of them used to eat food. What does that mean? God is self-sufficient. If someone's in need of something which is food, that is not the nature of the Creator who is self-sufficient. That God, and guess his nature of being self-sufficient. Everything is in need of God.
If I not flip it on you and say that it's not, God doesn't need to descend to the first heaven, so therefore it's unbefitting of God to descend.
Yeah, no one said God doesn't need to do it.
Yeah.
No one said that.
You're asserting a claim.
Huh?
I didn't say you needed to.
Yeah, but why is eating food?
Why is God descending?
No, food and descending is different. See what you're doing again?
Yeah.
What you do out of respect, you're trying to descending, okay?
It's a false equivocation.
It's a false comparison.
Yeah.
They're both actions.
Okay,
They're both actions of what we are calling God.
No, descending does not invalidate God's nature.
Yeah.
Show me in the Bible invalidate God's nature.
But you're saying that
But food-
Jesus eating
Yeah,
invalidates his God nature.
yeah, because you eat food to what?
How do
To replenish, to
you
give
don't-
nutrition.
For nutriment.
We don't necessarily have to believe that he done that for that sake. It's the same thing about
Okay,
him
when,
descending.
okay, no,
Does
it's
he
not.
have to descend?
No, you can't say.
Does God have to descend to listen
Okay,
to
does
the
God
prayers?
have? Okay, does God have to speak to Moses?
No.
Okay, so if I said to you, can I compare eating food to God speaking to Moses? Imagine.
They're both things he doesn't have to do, but he does.
No, but food is something that, okay, to make it clear to you, yeah? When
Food
Mary
is-
was holding the baby, Jesus, and she was breastfeeding him, was that God?
Yes.
So was God was getting breastfed? Okay. Was he in need of breastfeeding?
No.
So his mother, why was he breastfeeding him for?
Why? It's the same thing.
Oh,
I can say to you, why is he descending?
No, this is sophistry. You're being sophistry here.
No, I can do it. It's
No,
the
no,
same
it's
thing.
not. It's not, Papa.
not,
I'm
because we
Why
know
does
there's a
God
need.
descend?
Okay,
You're asking me why.
if I descend, okay, if I descend, no, not descend. If I walk from here to there, would that make me? Would any person think Shamsi is weak? Doesn't. But if I say to someone, I'm eating, everyone's brain is gonna think automatically when you eat food because you need nutrients. You need food. Come on, bro.
It's
like
not.
Jesus was needing the food. Jesus was needing of help.
Allah is descending to listen to the
No.
prayers.
No problem. Show me what. Okay, is this?
So why doesn't he just listen without descending?
Okay, why God doesn't not speak to you directly without sending prophets? But you cannot dictate to God what he
He
should
doesn't
do.
have
Exactly.
to do it, yeah.
No, but eating
So, but
food.
you're doing the same thing with Jesus.
Okay,
You're
is-
dictating what he should and shouldn't do.
No problem. Is eating food God's nature or human nature?
It would be of a human nature to need to eat food.
To eat food, okay? So are you saying Jesus was eating food for the sake of food? Just eating it?
Yeah.
Okay, show me in the Bible says that.
It doesn't say in the Bible.
Okay, well I know in the Bible Jesus emptied himself and humbled himself to be like us. To be like us what? When you eat food, because you need the food.
Yeah. You come
You see what I'm saying? You
subject.
see what you're doing? You are trying to be honest and be sincere, Baba, because we're going to die. And it's not a matter of, because what's happening, there is two factors why people don't accept Islam. Psychological factor or social factor. Psychological factor, you start what you're doing exactly. I'm not sure if you are realizing doing it. You start looking for anything to justify your position for rejecting the truth. I mean, like, I never came across no one telling me, trying to compare God descending to God eating food. Which doesn't make any sense. Because when I eat food, I'm in need of the food. Okay? Where God descends, it has nothing to do with food, with other things. You
He
understand?
does it to listen.
Not to listen, doesn't say that, listen. Doesn't say
Listen to the
that.
prayers.
No, it doesn't say to listen to the prayer. Allah listen to prayer from downstairs, you upstairs.
Why does he descend?
He says he descends to respond to for the third
So
of the
he
night.
does it to respond.
For the third night.
So
Okay.
so does he need to do it to respond?
No, God doesn't need to do it. Okay.
So why is he
does
doing it?
because God does whatever He wishes.
That's my argument to you.
No,
about
it's not.
Jesus.
I knew it. Because what we're talking about here, what God is, not what God does. What God is self-sufficient.
Yes.
Eating food, go and guess what God is.
Yes.
Descending is not what God is what God does. So differentiate between the two. What God is different than what God does.
What God
I'm not
does
telling you, for example,
is respond to the prayer.
yeah, but doesn't go and guess His nature. What I'm saying, my point here is, doesn't go and guess His nature. Because Allah never said, I'm going to ask you a prayer. The third of the night also is encouragement for the people to wake up the third of the night. That's what the hadith says as well. So it's encouragement. It's not for God, He needs it. It's to encourage, you know. So the point here is that you are mixing between what God is and what God does. What God is perfect all the time. What God does, He does whatever He wishes according to His nature, according to His wisdom and His knowledge. But now what God is, for example, imagine I said to you,
Yeah.
God, He knows if He wants. No, doesn't make any sense. Because God's nature to know everything. If God doesn't know, He cannot be God, same God who knows everything. But God, He spoke to Moses, He never spoke to me or to you. God, He destroyed some nation, but never destroyed the other nation, which go back to God's actions. Do you understand? Are you with me with God, what God is and what God does? All right? So you keep sticking to what God does. You understand? I'm talking to you what God is. You telling me God is perfect, but when you look to Jesus, He's not perfect. God is not in need of no one, but Jesus was not in need of help. Okay? Does the Father eat? Why in the Bible Father doesn't eat food? And also when you eat food, you know where you go to.
Yeah. Answer the call of nature.
Yeah, so what I'm saying to you, look, I mean, like, look, even Mary, let's be honest. When Mary was holding her baby, did she believe He was God?
We believe, yes.
She believed that this weak baby, she's taking care of him. Is there anyone, is God in need of people to take care of Him?
No.
So when Mary was taking care of Jesus, was that the same God who was not in need of no one to take care of Him? Doesn't make any sense.
It wasn't a need though, it was an optional choice.
So if she left Him without a milk,
I would say it's the same thing that God's choosing to descend.
no, if she left Him without,
Doesn't need to descend.
if she left Him without a milk,
In God, but this is God chose for it to be like that.
no, if she left Him without a milk, what will happen to him?
This is a pointless. This question doesn't make sense.
No, it makes, because he would die.
No, it
Exactly.
wouldn't. The answer is no, they wouldn't. But
So why she was feeding him? Just to give her breast. And anyway, why God touching a woman's breast?
you're asking why, but like.
Well, he's been naughty because why? I have respect. Because God playing around touching a woman's breast. I mean, come on, man. أعوذ بالله من ذلك. Allah's far away from His imperfection. You see what you're doing? That which is clear doesn't make any sense. You try to justify it. That which makes sense, you try to say, why God doing this? Bro, come on, you have to be honest, bro. Okay, I'll give you something else. When Jesus was 5 years old, did He know everything?
See, I don't have the answer. For
He was
you to how
ignorant.
this
He
works.
was ignorant. He was learning. Because he went to the rabbis to teach him.
Another day, I'll look into it and I'll come back to you with the answer. But for me, I'm sure the answer is there. But I don't have it on me now.
The answer is Jesus was half man, 100% human, 100% God. So they tell you, I can help you. In a way, I can tell you what they're going to tell you. 100% human, He was in need of food. Because the argument you are using, I've been doing it for the last 15 years. No Christian missionaries, no scholars said this. No one tried to equivalent to compare descending to food. No one did this in my life. You're the first person to do it. It doesn't make any sense. You understand? That what they say to the Christians, all of them, they say no. Jesus was a man and a God at the same time. So when He was in need of food, that was a man nature. That's what they say. But this is self-refuted because which part of Jesus was God and which part was a man? They say no, 100% God, 100% man. That doesn't make any sense. Because if I have a ring, 100% gold, it cannot be 100% silver. or plastic. Because there's certain things it's the complete opposite. You understand? So you cannot tell me a man is created, man is in need of food. You cannot be 100% a man and 100% God. It's war. And in the Bible it says, Jacob said, oh God, the universe cannot contain you, let alone my temple. Yeah? And is there anyone bigger than God?
No.
No one. So when Mary was holding Jesus, who was bigger, Jesus or Mary?
Right.
Well, leave it, man. Come to Islam.
Fair enough.
Come to the true teaching of Jesus.
I'll come back to you on that another day.
Inshallah. Take care of yourself. We pray when you go home, inshallah. Pray to the God of Jesus, the God of Abraham, the God of Muhammad, the God of everything, to guide you in the truth.
Okay.
Inshallah. So Jesus is not God because he has a God.
From your perspective.
But in the Bible, Jesus said, I'm going to my God and your God.
Yes.
Does the God have a God?
I don't have the answers for you regarding the
I'm saying
nature of the
rationality.
Trinity.
Rationality. No. My question, does God have a God? If we have a God of everything, does he have a God? If he's the God of everything.
I don't have the answer for you. Like I
Come
said.
on, bro.
I don't have the
Yeah,
answer
it's
to
like,
You don't have
explain
the
it.
answers for the simple things, so that's why you go into all the complex philosophy.
that's it.
To try and
Barakallahu
mask
fik,
it.
son. Yes. Try to
You do,
the
you
word.
do, I think
Where's
you
it?
have an answer.
Mask it, that's the word I'm looking for. That's what you're doing. You're
I know,
looking
because I was in
for.
your position as well.
Yeah, he was. That's what you're doing. You are trying to mask the clearest thing, the simple thing. Because the question I'm asking you, yeah, is not a question. I'm not asking you the Bible, about scriptures,
Yeah.
about the manuscript. That's you have to study this. I'm asking you just use your intellect and your natural inclination. Is Jesus the God of everything? Sure. Is he the God of the Father? So he's not the God of everything.
I don't have the answers for you.
Anyway, may Allah guide you.
I don't have the answers. I'll come
Take
back
care
to
of
you.
yourself, man. Take care, inshallah. May Allah open your hearts. Allahumma ameen.